Agud v'raboisai. Leilui Nishmat Yosef Mordechai. The Olam keeps on giving. Yishkoyach. The pizza tonight is sponsored by Anonymous. Zechus Chizuk HaTorah. Thank you. Rabbi said this is how it's done. In case you don't know, here on Friday, just 2 hours before Shabbos. Here we go. Somebody cares that I had a nickel. Somebody cares. They give out locks and it's schmack stuff. You guys know how to party. Anyway, we can learn from them. We could all learn from each other. It's good. You gain from it. Before the Israelis came around, nobody's donating pizza. Now people donate pizza because the Israelis every day somebody else. Somebody brings kugel, somebody brings chont. Okay, schmack. Who are our guests today? You can raise your hand if you want to be spoken to. Anybody? You're a guest? Kacha kacha. Who else? The whole? No, not that. You're a guest, no? What's your name? Elad. Okay. You? Who? Tzvimat's friend. But you're a guest. But you have a name, or you don't want to say? Yisrael Meir Abrams from Baltimore. Yishkoyach. Wow. Who else? Oh, Shalom Aleichem.
They're putting me on the spot.
How you doing? Why are you sitting over there? We have a special guest seat. What's your name?
It's close. Ivan Silverman.
Ivan Silverman from?
5 Towns.
5 Towns. Beautiful. You know, I grew up in the 5 Towns. I was a landsman. Okay. Shalom Aleichem. That's a few new guys. What's your name? Yechiel Levin? Shalom Aleichem. How you doing? What's your first name? Neria. Shalom Aleichem. Who's next? Since Chagiga. Come, let's go. Beautiful. Wow. Who's next to you, Baruch? I see a guest. The guests don't like to raise their hands. And if you don't want to say, it's a good place to sit because that's where I don't really pick up it. What's your name? Yonatan. From?
Oregon. I live in Dallas.
Oregon, wow. Don't forget to drop the Dalet Shtayim. Oregon. I don't know if we had a guy from Oregon before. Wow. It's gewaldig. Okay. I have to say Yishkoyach because I forgot his name already. Wow. But he's sponsored in his shul because of my Kiddush is sponsored, here we go, by the Schuster family in honor of the birth of the granddaughter to Shmuel's Rebbe, Reb Eli Stefansky. So Yishkoyach. Wow. In theory, consistency, this is from the author of Atomic Habits. So Berish Ludmer says it might be a chizuk to many. In theory, consistency is about being disciplined, determined, and unwavering. That's in theory. In practice, consistency is about being adaptable. Don't have much time? Scale it down. Don't have much energy? Do the easy version. You hear? If you are down in energy and you didn't do the daf, you don't have a lot of time, so scale it down. At least you do 10 minutes, you do something, you do 5 minutes, but you do a little bit. Let your habits change shape to meet the demands of the day. Adaptability is the way of consistency. I thought it'd be a chizuk to many. Mazel tov and have a beautiful Shabbos. Berish Ludmer. This individual says, this is Michal. He's a Kollel guy, and he says thank you to everybody that's behind the scenes of the MDY. Every single day I wait for the beautiful charts. It helps a lot, and it causes me to laugh. I show it here in Kollel, and he says in Hebrew, Ze pashut meturaf. Go translate it into English, I don't know. Ze meturaf. Isaac Held. Today you mentioned Yosef Meshisa in Shir, and I wanted to share with you that with my Rav Obam, I said it on Friday, also in an email. Yes, he was mentioned, he was a Rasha. The Romans asked him to go to Beis Hamikdash, but the second time he refused. What's pshat? Because when he went to Beis Hamikdash, he was transformed. The guy that wrote the email, let me just read his email real quickly. He says, when you go into Beis Hamikdash, the Kedusha of the Makom has a shpanim. And that's what happens when you come to MDY. has a shpaya. That's what Chaim Stern says. Let's see what this guy says in English. Held. So his Rav said, the Beis Hamikdash, he had Aliyah, Kodesh HaKadoshim, he felt remorse. Charot, not Kodesh HaKadoshim, he went into the Heichal. And, okay, there's definitely a lot to say about why you took out the menorah. You mamish feel like you're just, and he says the same thing. Very nice. He says like this, I wanted to add that I think we can apply this with going to places of holiness like the MDY headquarters or to the Shabbaton or Siyam on Motzei Shabbos and Lav Malka gathering in Brooklyn. You mamish feel like you were just pickled lahavdil. You feel such a hischachos when you enter that after you leave you feel such a freshness in learning and doing the daf and in your Yiddishkeit as a whole. I just want to thank you for everything you have been giving over to us, the years, and you continue to teach and spread the daf across the world. Thank you again for everything. Your Talmud Isaac held. P.S. Below is the email I sent almost a year ago when I was in the hospital when my wife was having a second baby. You're busy traveling at the time, so I forgive you if you missed it. So here it is. I'll read it for you. It's a year later. Dear Belly, I've been wanting to write for quite some time, pushed it off. I'm currently writing to you from the hospital as my wife and I await our second child. Now that kid is already a year old. We got in last night, and although I'm exhausted and only in a few hours of sleep on and off in a chair, this morning I woke up daven and did the daf. P.S. He says in parentheses, it's not, he says it, not me. There's no way someone who learns Be'iyun on a couple of hours of sleep would learn now. LOL. Never have thought that the daf would change my life, but it truly has, and has brought such consistency to my life. We just started with Metzias, Yush. Okay, that's all I'm going to read from this one. Thank you again for everything. All the best. Your Talmud Isaac held. Rabbi say today we don't have that many sponsors. 5 and 5. 5 from the Masechta, 5 for the month. Refuah Shelaima for Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. For Atzlacha, Borukhniyos, ובגשמיות. Eli Cohn and Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70, continued for 32 years until he was nifter. Masechta for this unity of the Jewish people. The Masechta by Glenn Esterson with love and gratitude for Wilmington, North Carolina. What's more chashuv, Wilmington, North Carolina, or Oregon? Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. Both places that we don't really have that many people. How many people are on Zoom? 51. Maybe it's not real. Maybe it's like the same one over and over. They just show us the same. The parnassa chodesh, Nishmat zechariah ben Moshe, Nishmat zechariah ben Yosef. Parnassa chodesh has zechus for our children, tremendous parnassa. You know why? Because Motzei Shabbos, it's only people in Eretz Yisrael. And also England. Parnassa chodesh, Nishmat, Yafabat Simcha, for Shelaima Yisrael Yaakov ben Malka. Parnassa chodesh zechus. Parnassa berever for Baruch Tzvi Ben Shoshana Leah. Parnassa chodesh Kidnovations LLC in honor of Uncle Elchanan Fishel, zechus of Akiva Simcha Ben Fayga Shidduch for Refuah, and the thank you to Rebbitzen Stefansky. Parnassa Shavuot Yitzi Hollander in honor of our oldest grandson Shua's upshare may grow in Torah Midas. Art of the month for zechus for Belly, the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoy for so many. Art of the month in honor of Yosef Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work that they do. Rabbi Sai, here's your chance to win a brand new laptop computer. All you need to do is those who finish the perek, which we will be doing Be'ez Hashem tonight, you could just go on this QR code, and I have to say, Yishikoyach to Benny Rodnick. I hope there's not Lashon Hara. According to Chofetz Chaim, this might be Lashon Hara. Because check out this food. I said I just want one piece of meat, a tiny, just for me. Piece of meat and a piece of schnitzel. So it gives me all this gizvaldige stuff, and unfortunately, I ate it all. The funny thing is that he gave me croutons. And I'm like, why do I need croutons? I'm a married guy. I have croutons at home. And then I realized, but my wife's not home and she didn't shop for the last 2 weeks. And soup without croutons is nishkein soup b'chalal. So Baruch Hashem, he gave me those croutons. Rabbi said, yes.
Ozzy Finance is doing Fishel's program.
Really? So you're doing it. Are you going to continue afterwards, Ozzy? Are you going to continue without the program? I put him on the spot, as I. Givaldik. How's Shmuel doing? Is he doing it? Is he doing it? No. Okay. Givaldik. Rabbi say, we have an amazing daf of Agadata, and then we finish the perek, then we go into Sanhedrin again. Also cool, Gishmak in Yanim, but not Agadata. This is Agadata. We're holding 6 lines from the bottom. Omar Leo Amino Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yosef. 6 lines. Lam Ches on the base, 6 lines from the bottom. We're continuing with this whole theme of the Apikarsim challenging the Gdoilim. He tells Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yosef, Siv Hashem himtir al Zdoim al Amoira. Hashem rained upon Zdoim. Gofris va'eish meis Hashem. Seems like there's another entity here. Hashem was the one that it rained upon Zdoim al Amoira. Meis, it came from Hashem. What it should have said is Me'itoi. So, before we really begin, let me just finish this line here, and I have a question for the Olam. Me'itoi me'bayilei. Before I just want to ask the question of the day, is there any Hava Amina, does anybody have a Hava Amina, that if an Arab terrorist who believes in his heart that he's doing the Ratzon Hashem, he really thinks that he's doing the right thing by kidnapping a 1-year-old or murdering innocent women and children, he really thinks he's doing the right thing, does he give the Rebbeinu Shalom any sort of nachas ruach because he blew himself up on a bus? Do you think, is there any havamin he gives himself nachas ruach? Anybody here want to jump in here and say, is there any havamina? Huh? You say no. Huh? To the Satan. You know, but he's giving up his life for Hashem. He's making a mistake, but he thinks he's doing the right thing. Huh?
Right? We're giving karbanos, we're doing nachas ruach. It's very nice, but if you don't do the mitzvahs, it's not going to be nachas ruach. So
usually that's what we would think, but there's an interesting Gemara we're going to learn today. Okay, so now this koifer asked the question. The pasuk doesn't seem correct. It starts off saying Hashem rained upon Zdoim this fiery thing, and then it says Me'es Hashem. It came from Hashem. Omar le ahu koives. So the launderer, many times in Shas we have this launderer. I don't know if it's the same one. Shafke. He asks his Rebbe, listen, do me a favor. Could I answer? I know Madron only. Let me answer. Even I can answer. They say about Rebbe Menon Yitzchak, when he's about tshuva, when he first started out with his speeches, so once in a while, people would stump him with good questions. So he came up with a little trick. He went to this organization called Nasa Nishmat, and he said, give me one of your top lecturers, okay? He hired this lecturer, and he says, listen, I'm filling up a stadium. You pretend you're working on this speaker system, okay? And then when a guy would stump him, he says, that's such a dumb question. Ask the guy from the speaker. Even the speaker guy knows the answer. He says, what do you think? What do you say, Mr. Speaker guy? And he says, actually, that. And that's how he get away. So even the launderer, you don't have to come to Rabbi Shmuel. Even the launderer could answer the question. What's his answer? Lemech tells his wives, Ada and Sila, Shman Koili, listen to my voice, Nishei Lemech, the wives of Lemech. He himself is talking, he says, the wives of Lemech. No shai mebayilei. If you want to be, according to you, it should say no shai. According to anybody, that's the way we write. My wives, not the wives of Lemech, talking in third person. There's a way, this is the way the pasuk writes, that's the style. So in your case also, that's the way Meis Hashem is also the style. So Rabbi Shmuel asked the Koivis, where do you get this from? He says, I learned this, I heard it, I went to a drasha, used to give these drashas to the tzibur, I listened, I heard, when Remeir darshan avadarshan tilta shmaita, he would darshan a third halacha, tilta agata, a third agata like we're learning right now, tilta masle, and a third mishalim. That's where I got it from. You do a few stories in the middle. I'm a little machmer. I do more than a third. But it's also here, it's part of the thing. The Ben Ish Chai learns from here that every darshan should have a third Torah and halacha, but he says the third should be jokes. That's what he says from here, from this Gemara. Emails, whatever it is. Some of it is too serious. The jokes. That's what I'm saying. I said I'm machmer. You didn't hear me? Shalosh me'os meshalish shualim hoyle remain. In those days, the Meshalim used to be about the fox, the smart fox. Remeir had 300 of those. V'anu, we only received shalosh. We only have 3. Which ones are they? So now some Rishonim say it's only 1. They're all bundled up here. It said in the pasuk, fathers will eat boiser. What's boiser? This is boiser. This is the best I could do right here. This is like grapes that are almost not edible. The v'shinei banim and the teeth of the sons tekena. Some of you might relate to this. The Chassam Sofer says that this is referring to when a father learns with his son, and he's a little tough on his son, and he gives his son a bad taste in learning. His son gets trauma from learning with his father. Many of us are guilty of it, myself included. I don't know if I get in trauma, just they don't like learning with me at all. He says, Yoichlu boiser, you're teaching them Torah like boiser, it doesn't taste good, to the point where the shinei vanim tekena, their teeth simply fall out. You got to be careful. When you have a scale, one side goes down, the other side goes up. We're going to see it in this beautiful mashal. Tzaddik mitzara nechlotz, the tzaddik will be saved from his tzara, v'yavi rasha tachtav, and instead the rasha will take his place of that tzara. So Rashi brings the mashal. Rashi says that the fox tells the wolf, he says, come help the Jews, this guy, they're preparing for Shabbos, go help them out. So he goes, helps them out. Oh, it's actually, hold on. Here we go. He helps them out Erev Shabbos, and what do? They come after him with sticks. This is Rashi. This is all in Rashi. So now the wolf is upset at the fox. He says, you tricked me. He says, no, if you really want to eat, here. He says, come here. He brings him to a well, and the fox goes into a bucket, and the bucket works that one bucket goes down, the other one comes up. He goes into the bottom of the well. Some of you might have seen this mashal before. Goes to the bottom of the well, and he tells the fox, you see, there's a good piece of cheese here, because you see the reflection of the moon is on the bottom on the water. It looks like a piece of cheese. He says, there's a nice piece of cheese here. Why don't you come down into the well and eat the cheese? So the wolf goes into the bucket, here like this, something like this. Then, and the fox comes out. And once the fox comes out, the fox runs away and leaves the wolf in there to die. That's what the pasuk is saying. Moizni tzedek avni tzedek. You have this scale that goes up and down. Tzaddik mitzar nechlotz. The fox is saved from the tzara, from this wolf that wants to eat him. V'yaver rasha tachtav, and the rasha, the wolf, is going to be there instead of him in the bottom of the well. Ask the Marsha, how did the fox know that the wolf will fall for it? And what if he doesn't fall for it? The wolf will run away and the fox will be stuck in the bottom of the pit. So he says a chap, it doesn't say it anywhere here. He just says a mathematical chap how he did it. He said that the fox put a bunch of stones that weigh more than him in a bucket, in the other bucket, in the wolf's bucket. So the fox couldn't go down. So the fox took another large stone with him. And when he's on the bottom of the well, if the wolf wouldn't go in, he'll just take the large stone out of his bucket, and then the other bucket will by itself take him out. Okay. The Marsha, Omer le Kason le Rebbe Gamliel. So there we go again with these koifrim. Some Gemara say koifer. My Gemara says Kesar. It could be it's part of the censorship. Omer le koifer le Rebbe Gamliel. Eloi keichem ganavu. Hashem is a ganav. Why? When he gave him Chava, he did a little surgery, put him under anesthesia, put him to sleep, and then he took his tzela. What's a tzela, Rabbi Isai? Side. A lot of people think it's a rib. It's not a rib. It's either the side, a whole part of Adam, or a tail. Okay. So you see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was a ganav. Why did he knocked him out, and then he took it. So the Caesar's daughter, or the Koifer's daughter, says to him, Shafke, mamish like the Koivis, like the laundry. Let me answer my father. She tells her father, give me a judge. Why do you need a judge? Listen, because the Ganovim came and took from us a whole jug of silver. And these Ganovim, these Shaitim, they took the silver and replaced it with a piece of gold. It's worth, I don't know how much gold is worth more than silver, 100 times more, whatever it is. How much is it? 12? No, that's it? Good luck. So the father says, Halavai, we should have such a Ganev. Oh. So she says, not a man, a woman said this, and if you're a woman, you should turn it off for a minute. I just got Erev Shabbos an email from 2 Hasidic women who say that they watch the share every day and I should give a shout out to the father. So if you're listening, father, here's the shout out. I'm not going to read the email. Say they watch every day. Hasidim. So, Givaldik, what? Hashem took one tzeila, whatever it is, and he gave him instead a shivcha. Now, okay, I'm going to explain what this daughter meant. It's not a shivcha. Shivcha means, now that my wife is gone for 2 weeks, not that no, all of a sudden I realized on Thursday night I forgot to eat. I forgot to eat. There was no dinner ready, so I went to Shin, and all of a sudden Mil Shir, why am I hungry? Forgot, she's there, the woman, they bear the child, the pregnancy for 9 months, the whole thing. Those Hasidic ladies are watching. There's a zach for 9 months, whatever you call it, I don't even know. And they take care of the kid. It's not a shivcha, chas v'shalom, but this woman called it a shivcha. That's her problem. We don't call it a shivcha, chas v'shalom. Omar lo. So it was a great deal. So the father says, yeah, I realize, great answer. But still I have a taina on the Rebbeinu Shalom. Why do you have to knock him out? Take the tzela, whatever it is, while he's awake. Tell him, listen, here, chop, chop, chop. Here's a woman. Here's your wife. Why did he put him to sleep? Give me a piece of flesh. When I was in the shlachtois watching them shech these animals, been there a number of times, I said to myself, how could I eat a piece of steak now? It's disgusting. I just saw them shech. I just saw them take the. Some people say, no, Gishmak, give me a piece right now. It's mamish fresh. Some people not. So they brought her a piece of steak. She put it in the ashes. Apikta, she takes it out. Here, now it's nice and roasted. Eat it. No, that's disgusting. If Adam saw the surgery, he wouldn't have any desire for his wife. Now, Baruch Hu, he dressed her, he put on her makeup, the Gemara says. He made her hair. He was the hair artist, whatever it's called. I should know, my daughter is one of those. The what? Hairdresser, hairstylist. He did everything. Why? To make her a Geshmaka wife. Otherwise, it wouldn't be Geshmaka. So, that's why I put her into sleep. I know what your HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing. Isn't it vitnach? So Gamliel went, oivei. Omalei, my high. What are you saying? Omalei. So he tells him, Gamliel, better chadish b'kachayam. I have a son overseas. Veshli gaguim alav. And I miss him. Bira de machvis leinahale. I want you to tell me about him. Show me him. Omami yidana echaninu. I don't even know where he is. Omalei, dikib ha'ar lo yadas. You don't know what's on this world. Dikib ha'shmai yadas. You know what's going on in that world. There was when we went on the safari with the family, so my family went with this guy it's a walking safari. I wanted to go, but I had to give shir, you know what I'm saying? So they come back and say, no, how many animals do you see? I said, we didn't see anything. We saw, all he showed us was that this waist of this animal is this size, so therefore I could tell it's an elephant, and this is from a gazelle, and then he picks up a piece of the gazelle, it's a small thing. It's good stuff. When we get stuck here, we eat this, a whole thing. I said, and that's why I paid $1,500 that you tell you the whole thing? Okay, fine. So a guy asked, a Rav, he was asking him different questions about the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's impossible the Rebbeinu Shalom should do this, that. So he tells him, listen, why is that a cow eats grass and a goat eats grass. You look at their waist, it's different sizes, different colors. What's going on here? He says, I don't know. He says, you don't understand about the waist of a goat, so how do you understand about the Rebbitzen Shalom? You're going to tell me now questions about the Rebbitzen Shalom? That's what he's saying over here. You don't understand anything. You don't understand. You can't tell me where my son is in this world, so you're going to tell me about the Rebbitzen Shalom in the next world. Rebbitzen Shalom could count the stars. My Rebbu said, what's the big deal? I also could count. So his plan was that he's going to count the stars. We'll make up a number. How are you going to deny that number? So he says, oh yeah. He brought quinces here, something like this, and he put it into some sifter. He started shaking it around, and he says, he was rolling them around. Tell me how many I have here in this box. Stop moving them. The stars also move. You can't see all the stars. Everything's constantly moving. How are you going to know all the stars? Some say that he said like this. He told him, count the stars. He said, I know how many stars there are. So he said, yeah. How many teeth do you have? How many molars do you have? So he puts his finger in his mouth. He starts counting his teeth. You don't know how many are in your mouth. You know how many stars there are. I could prove to you that whoever created the mountains did not create the wind. It's one lashon, yoitzer harim, and it says uvayre ruach. He created the wind. It says this, the both lashonos. So you're telling me that there's two creators? There's one tevach. This is about a tevach, right? Like 6 inches. If you put your fist from your eye to ear, it's about 6 inches. So from here to here, you have 2 holes in the body. So you're telling me the one who created the eye didn't create the ear. Why would I say that? There's a yoitzer and there's a noiteya. Hanoita. So according to you, it's two creators for the eye and for the ear. Yeah, you're right. It's a great kasha, and in fact, there was a creator for the eye and a creator for the ear. Now you have to understand, a lot of these answers that they're telling the minim, a lot of it is just a lishitascha kind of answer. You asked me such an interesting question, so I'm going to answer you an answer that you, on your level, something just to brush you off. We'll see it straight out. It's like, oh, look, count how many quinces there are. You can't count that, you can't, it's like on your level. How does a person die? How his eyesight goes and his ear goes? How? If it's by both two different creators, what they sit down, they have a meeting. Okay, at 10:22, we're going to kill this guy. We're going to shut down his eyesight and his hearing. A mechashev told Ameimer la'ameimer, I think that your upper body was created and is being ruled by hurmez, which is a type of shed, and your bottom part, the hurmez, from the Rebbeinu Shalom. How does Hashem let the hurmez laburi my bari? How could the water, you go to the bathroom, it all runs through, it goes from the top part that's not owned by Hashem, and Hashem allows it to go through his part? Doesn't make sense. It's 2 different owners. Let's all be one nation. Great idea, says Reb Tamchum. I like it. Great idea. The problem is, there's a little problem. Let's all be one nation, but we have a bris milah, you don't. So we can never be like you, or you could be like us. So you all get a bris milah and become Jewish. You said, oh, you got me. I don't have an answer to that. Miu called the zechus l'malko l'shadyu l'beima. Whoever beats the king we throw him into the lion's den. Where do we have this? I recently said over the Maisa about in Avodah Zarah, I don't know where else it is, but Rebbe said, Yesh koine lo mishachas. There are people that are zoichet olam haba in 1 minute. The Gemara tells us about this, a guy who saved the Jews, so he beat the whoever it was, the Caesar said, well, let's spread them out, and he says, you can't do it to the Jews, you'll never get it. So he says, you're right, you beat me, but since you beat me, now I have to kill you. And on the way that he was going to get killed, so some lady, Matronisa, yelled out that she hinted to him that he didn't have a bris yet. So he threw himself on a rock and he got a bris. And but you see over there also, he beat the king and that's why they killed him. So over here they threw him into a lion's den. Check this out, into a lion's den. And what happened? And the lions are calm, they're not eating him. I love this maisa. Comes a koifer, comes by, he says, big deal, they're not eating him. It's because they're not hungry. He said, oh, really? They're not hungry? So they threw him in, and we had yesterday, remember, I don't know if this is the same shop, but yesterday we said that animal doesn't harm a human being unless the human being is like a behemoth. That's pshat. He was chashav. They threw him in, and he was not a behemoth, so they didn't want to eat him. The second guy was a real behemoth. He's a min. He's a Amritu, you say, anytime you have 10 people, that's a minion. The Shekhinah comes, right? If you come late to shul, comes to shul and there's nobody there, what happens? He gets upset. I'm here. Where's everybody? Yeah, that's why they sorry about Lanim. Aryeh, I'm serious. I have a screen in my office. Once in a while, I go on to see what's going on. If the coffee's getting ready, that. Aryeh is here every morning, a half hour before davening. So it comes from where? Bitar, no? I'm reading the Kol Be'asor Shechin T'Sharia. Huh? That's right. It's always, it's with your dad. You have to give him a compliment. There's no traffic at 6:30. He could come at 6:20. There's no traffic then either. Yeah. Anyways, how is it possible that the Shekhinah goes to every single place? How many Shekhinahs are there? So I have to share this with you, even though it's not pleasant. Some of you are going to get I saw somebody in the Friday shir, but it gave me a little trauma when I read this. I was in a cheder in Bnei Brak when I came from America to Jerusalem. My parents put me in a cheder that lasted for like 2 months. Then they decided to be nice. They said, "Oh, don't worry, it's not like it didn't go well. We're just upping you. We're putting you in high school." So they took me out. I was like 10 years old in high school. Whatever. It's a different story. So I'm there, minding my own business, going to Mincha in the hallway. All of a sudden, I see stars, literally stars. What happened was one of the Rebbeim, not my Rebbe, decided to whack me in the back of my neck. Boom! Star. What happened? He's like, "You're not going fast enough. We want you to move quicker. You're not even my Rebbe." Okay, that guy. So somebody says, "Yeah, whatever." I'm oichel him because he's probably not alive anymore, and he probably went through the Holocaust. I don't know, what this guy went through. But there's some crazies out there. But that's exactly what this guy. That's what the Rabbi Gamliel, he whacks the shamish in the back of his neck. Omerlei, I don't even know why. Like, what does that have to do with the story? But anyways, Omerlei, Amayel Shimsha Bebeis the Kaser. You deserve it. You know why? Boom. Why do you allow the sun to get into the windows of the person you're supposed to protect? The Caesar. Omerlei, Shimsha Kuli Almanach. What do you mean? The sun goes everywhere. I can't stop it. Oh. The sun is 1/10,000,000th of the Kaviyachol, even a number of the Rebbeinu Shalom, of the Shekhinah of the Rebbeinu Shalom. You think it can't spread? Basically, because you're saying that you're asking me a question as if the Shekhinah is a physical thing. So I'm telling you, you want to talk physical. There, in your language. Say the Shekhinah is physical, the sun is also, okay, so what about the sun? It's physical, the sun. So, you can't control the sun, you can't control the Shekhinah. In other words, the Shekhinah can be in many different places. Your Hashem is a jokester. The Klamar Leilui Yechiel, first he tells Yechiel, lay on your left. Then he says, lay on your right. And he ended up sleeping like that for 40 days. Why would he do that to him? Why would he mess with him? First, right, left. Also, Al Talmida. So happens to be a Talmud walks by. And he asks his Rebbe, Rebavo, my time is Shviasa. Rebbe, what's pshat that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made Shemitah? 1 year out of 7, you can't plant anything. You can't work the fields. Rebavo says, this is genius. In other words, he asked me this, you asked me something out of left field, I'm going to combine them together. I'm going to give you one answer, seemingly two things that don't have any connection, and I'll try to answer it. I'll tell you something that's good for Tarvaychu. Shmuel tells Klal Yisrael, I want you to plant 6, keep the 7th year empty. I want you to know that the land is mine. And Klal Yisrael didn't listen. They sinned, and therefore this galus. The minig is when you have a king that entire population went against him, if he's a cruel person, he kills everyone. And if he's a compassionate king, he'll kill half. If he's a real, if he's full of mercy, he takes Yisur, he takes the greatest of the nation and he gives them Yisur. He starts off with Shemitah, ends up with the person doing a sin. In order to be Mechaper Klal Yisrael, he gives Yecheskel Yisurim. Your Hashem is a Kohen. Shkoyach, he's a Kohen. Prove it to you. Siv equally Truma. Hashem says, give me Truma. What does that mean, give me Truma? Give me Truma. Obviously, if he's eating Truma, Hashem, I guess Hashem eats. He thought the min thinks Hashem eats. He needs Truma. He's a Kohen. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu buried Moshe Rabbeinu, how did he go to the mikvah? He's a lamdan. You'll say, oh, he went to a giant mikvah. He went into the Atlantic Ocean. HaKadosh Baruch Hu could measure, to take all the water in the world in a fist. So Rebbe tells him, Benura Tavel. According to you, your gross akasha, he went into a fire. Hashem went into a fire. Does it work? Does the going to the mikvah of a fire work? It's much better to go into a fire. I thought, could be I'm wrong, I thought that he's messing with him. I think certain things that have to be in a mikvah, they have to be in a mikvah. Water's water, fire is fire. There's hagalas kelim you can do with fire, but certain things, you have to go in the mikvah. But the smak, who's a rishon, says that if a guy goes off the derech, he's a meshumad, and he wants to do tshuva, so he has to go into the mikvah, and he has to shave his head with a razor. It says, what if he does tshuva because they bring him to the stake and they're gonna burn him? He says, if they burn him, then that's like a mikvah. And he says, here, look at this Gemara in Daf Lametes in Sanhedrin, that fire works like a mikvah. I wonder if they argue on him. Your nation is one in this land. What's the big deal? What's so special about them? You're mixing with us. All all the nations are like nothing to him, including the Jews. No. Look, your prophet, your Navi, Bilam, he says, we don't count. The Goyim are not counted. You could sing if you want. By the way, I forgot to show you this Taisus. I got to show you this Taisus. Taisus says, why, if the Rebbeinu Shelaima was a Kohen, why would he be metamet to Moshe Rabbeinu? He's not allowed to, because Moshe Rabbeinu is a son. Banim lamakom, all Klal Yisrael banim, and that's why. In terms of the min, the koifer is thinking this. Gadol, yeah. Rebbe Lazar Rami, Ksiv, Toiv Hashem Lakol. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is good. Oh, I have to say the sponsors. 1 second, where are they? Here we go. Turning of the Daf, Tavis, Berkovici family, in honor of them, the White Daf champions, Leo Shamshi Shlaffer, Uncle Freddie, and Mr. Gross. And the Refuah Shelaima of our fearless leader-in-chief, Chaim Gabriel Ben Sivilano, by the members of the Monsey Fire Department, and Yaakov Sidron. Sidron Films, strategic video production. He has a contradiction, Rebbe Lazar. Lazar Rami, Ksiv, Tov Hashem Lakol, Hashem is great, it's good to everybody. Uksiv, Tov Hashem, only to L'koivav, to those who wait for him. Mashal Adam Sheshlei Paradise, person has an orchard. When he waters it, he waters everything. But when he uses the hoe, he only hoes some of the good ones. The water, he has no control where it's going to go. It goes here, there, it goes everywhere. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a shpa on the world. He gives us a shpa. He says, okay, I'm giving life and everything to this world, so everybody's included. They're showing the tzaddikim. When he starts picking the ones he wants, he's only going to pick the good ones. Lefichach says in the Mishnah, Kol echad ve'echad. And then the Mishnah says, when the Rasha dies, there's a tremendous amount of simcha. When Achav died, he's a tremendous Rasha. Put Avodah Zarah everywhere, every pole, everything had a piece of Avodah Zarah. He's one of the people that don't have chelik l'olam haba. When he died, Vayavar Arena, it was tremendous joy in the encampment. When a Rasha, think about it, Rabbi Isai, how happy was every single person in this room when Yechiel Zechrya died? People were dancing in the streets. When he goes five, when a Rasha goes bye-bye, Rina. Ben Omri, Rina. So when he died, it was Rina. Is HaKadosh Baruch Hu happy when Yichya Sinuar, whatever the Rosh's name is, when he dies, is he happy? When Yoshafat came back from war, and they said, Hoidu Hashem, what's missing here, Rabbi Isai? Hoidu Hashem, ki lo elam chazdoi. It doesn't. Hoidu Hashem, ki toi, ki leya voilo, yoelo chazdoi. Hoidu Hashem, oi, ki yeyoi, ki leya voilo, yoelo chazdoi. Shkoyach, Dave. Hoidu Hashem, we say every day, Hoidu Hashem ki toiv ki lo elam chazai. What does this pasuk say? Hoidu Hashem ki lo elam chazai. The word toiv is missing. Why don't it say ki toiv? The fee, shein HaKadosh Baruch Hu sameach b'malaz b'shoshayim. It's not toiv. He's not happy when the Rasha dies. The Omar, the Mitzrim, who tortured Klal Yisrael for 210 years, they didn't come close to Klal Yisrael. But the famous Gemara, the Malachim wanted to say Shira. Yosef ben Chaim Tov Tzadik says in the name of the Medrash, that's why on Pesach, on the final day of Pesach, we don't say a full Hallel, because that's the day that the Mitzrim drowned. So the question is, we don't say, it's not a question, I'm asking you, we don't say Hallel on the final day, but why don't we say full Hallel the whole Chol Hamoed? And What? What do you say? Nu zog, zog.
You can't say more Chalamoyed than you can say on the...
Oh, you can't say more Chalamoyed than you say on Yontif. And the reason why we don't say on the last day, based on this Gemara, we don't say a Halal Shalom on the final day. So because of that, because they died, everybody's like, yes, shorter Halal. Yeah. 2 little prakim. Shmak. I mean, seriously, what's the biggest hana a Jew has? When the chassan comes in, you should see. They spend 6 minutes arguing. Here, you say tachan today or not? Chassan, you shouldn't be here. Why are you even coming? Stay home, go to another minyan. You could have said tachan 16 times. No, but still, the hana of not saying it, we could die. Let's bring the Shulchan Aruch. They come, they open up the Shabura. No, Eli, you should say. I said, no, you don't. I said, maybe you do. Maybe you don't. The day of the chasana, they argue with me every single time. I said, he's not getting married today. Calm down. No, he's a chasana, but he's a chasana, he has a shomer. Yeah, he's getting married after Shkia, and even if he got married before Shkia, it's not. That's not what we're talking about. No, we shouldn't be saying. But I think it's the Yehoppachitzer Rebbe's yard site today also. Okay.
Everybody has a yard site. I have an app that shows you everybody's yard site every day, so you don't have to say tachan anything.
You do have to say.
No, according to the app.
Not according to the app, yeah.
The yard site.
That guy's going to Gan Eden. The creator of that app. But here's the point. Why wouldn't you want to say it's such an important tefillah? It's such a beautiful tefillah. The Gemara tells us, I think it was Gamliel, the second he said Tachlon, his brother-in-law died. It's a very, very powerful tefillah. If you know what Tachlon is, you'd never want to miss it. Who ate a sauce? You're right. Good question. Why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu be happy when he doesn't he's not happy. So what about us? Are we allowed to dance when Sinwar died? Says the Gemara, who ate his sauce? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not happy. He makes them happy, they could. Yosef like Yosef. From the Lashon, it seems like HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself doesn't, but he'll create other people to be happy. Shma Mina. It says in the pasuk, V'hazoynois rochatzu. What's the word V'hazoynois? Rochatzu. When Achav died. Omar, Rebbe Elazar lemorek shteiches yoynois. Because a lot of times the hey and a ches are interchangeable. So it's referring to, they clarified the two chezyoynois, chezyoynois, they clarified the two nevuas. Acha shel Michio, v'acha shel Eliyahu. Michio ksiv, im shoyv tashem shalom le'diber Hashem bi. In other words, Michio is saying, Achav, you're going to die. You're not coming back. But Eliyahu ksiv, v'mokem asher lo kuku aklavim. Where are you going to die? In the place where the dogs licked esdam novois. That place. That's where you're going to die. So in Mela, shtei chezyoynois, the two nevuas came to fruition. He died exactly where they told him he's going to die. Rav Amar Zoynis Mamish. We're referring to Zoynis. Achav Ishmetzunan Haya. Achav didn't have a lot of taiva. V'asalei Zebel, his wife, Shtei Tzuri Zoynis, she put 2 pictures of Zoynis b'merkavtoi in his wagon. Kadesh Yiroi Sam Yischamim, they should have a taiva. Vish Mashach B'kesh Tuma V'Yakeh. One of the soldiers, the enemies, he went, he pulled the arrow, Vayakeh, and he killed Achav. Rebbe Elazar Amar Lefi Tumoi. Also reminds me of Sinur Yimach Shemai. They didn't know it was him. They killed him. Some random soldier killed a random guy. Turns out that it was him. So too over here, he didn't know he's killing Achav, the king of Eretz Yisrael. Poof, he killed him. Rav Amar L'tamim Shteichas Yoynos, to fulfill the 2 nevuas, Acha Shel Michio, V'Acha Shel Eliyahu, like we said a second ago. Simen Korah V'Zocha B'Adam. Ksiv. Achav calls Ovadiah, who's in charge of his house. And Ovadiah, you should know, was a big Yerushalayim. Moed, very much. My call, my crow. Well, what's going on here? What's the connection between Ovadiah and Achav and the fact that he's a Yerushalayim? Omar Yitzchok, Omar Lei, Achav, I love this Gemara. I think everybody can relate to this. Achav tells Ovadiah, but Yaakov Ksiv, I don't understand what's wrong with you. By Yaakov it says, Nichashti vayivorochenu Hashem miglalecha. I see this, everybody understands this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless me because of you, says Lavan, tells Yaakov. Because of you. By Yosef Ksiv, what does it say by Yosef? Vayivoroch Hashem is Beis HaMitzri b'glal Yosef. HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed the house of the Mitzri because of Yosef. Beis the Gavra, Achav, listen to this. It's unbelievable. Achav, this tremendous Rasha. he doesn't have a chelik leilam haba. Who is he blaming for all his problems? The servant. I'm a great guy. It's you. It has to be you. Because Yosef brought such bracha, and Yaakov brought bracha, so how come you didn't bring bracha? The fact that I'm a big Rosh and I put Avodah Zarah in every single pole in town has nothing to do with anything. Typical. Everybody has someone else to blame besides himself. Could be the pshat is, not that you're over Avodah Zarah, but you don't have enough of your Shemayim. Unbelievable. It's a Baskal V'Amra. No. But the Baskal came out and said, no. Not only is he Yerushalayim, he's Ma'od, very much. It's your fault. Your house is not going to get bracha. Omer Baba. What it says about Avidio, it says Ma'od, very much Yerushalayim, is more than what it says by Avram. I don't think that he's greater than Avram, but it doesn't say the word Ma'od by Avram. It says, let's see the pasuk. It says, Kirei Elikim Ata, v'lo chasachtas binchas yichidcha mimeni by the Akedah. But it doesn't say Kirei Elikim Ma'od Ata. Okay? So the Lashon is very much stronger by Evadio. Why was Evadio zoicha to be a Navi? He was a ger, and a ger shouldn't be having nevuah. Says the Gemara, tremendous aside. He did a tremendous act. He saved 100 Nevi'im in a cave. She was destroying the Nevi'im. 50-50. So it comes out, you see this all over. In order to be Zoycha to Galus, typical way is slow but sure, every day, Yoived Hashem, every day. But sometimes in life, you have an opportunity. You have this one-time opportunity, and when you jump on that opportunity, you can be Zoycha to the greatest of the great. But it's a one-time thing. Certain people, right? Yoina was a simple person, but he became a Navi. Why did he become a Navi? Because he was Sameach Simcha G'dayla in the Beis Hamikdash by the, what is it called? Simchas Beis Sheva. Simple man, but he did a unbelievable act of Simcha. He was Zoycha to Nevuah. Here you have a person that's not supposed to be Zoycha to Nevios, but he saved 100 Nevi'im. You can't this. It reminds me, somebody came over to me, whoever you are, if you're still watching the shir, a guy that was here, and he told me that his family was saved by the Stefanskys are originally from Switzerland. So his family was saved by a Stefansky in Switzerland by the war, the Germans. He said that the Stefansky would go to the border, pay off the German guards, and take Jews. And he had 50, 60 people sleeping in his house on the floor, in the living room, dining room. The whole thing was full of Jews that he saved. His family came from that. Sometimes a person can do a ma'aseh. They have excuses. I'm going to save 100 Nevi'im, or if they catch me, they'll kill me. No. Went out, saved, and was zoicha to tremendous things. Can't be any bigger than a Navi. Mamsha Navi. Says the Gemara, Ma'ishna chamishimish. Why did he split 100 to 2 camps of 50? No, so what would you say? Well, a minute, you're the guy from California? What's your name? You're from Lev? Where are you from? Amat Shilo. I'm looking for that. There's a Bocher came a few days ago, and I thought he looked like you. He had a blue yarmulke, kind of. And I didn't say hello to him. Then he came up to me after the show. He says he just came in from Yerushalayim. He's from Eula. The guy from Eula. That's where he was. Huh? Checking out age. Very good. That guy. I felt bad that I didn't say hello to him during shir. Okay. So what would you say? Why did he take 100 and split them into 2 camps? Huh? If they catch one, that would be the simple answer. Omer Belozim Yaakov Avinu Lamad. Yaakov Lamad. Shenemar v'hoya machnan nishalif leita. If they catch one, you'll have 50 survivors. Revo Amar, no, go simpler. If you change more about he just physically couldn't put more than 50. Chazon Vadio. What after is that? What parasha? Vayishlach. Koyamar Hashem Elikim le'adon. Ma'ishna Vadio le'adon. This is other greater Nevi'im than Avadio. Why did Avadio give the Nevuah to them? Two pshatim we have here. Where did Avadia live? By where? By the greatest Rasha, one of the greatest Rashanim that ever lived. Achav and his wife Yezel. He didn't learn from them. And he'll learn from Esav. And he'll say Nevuah to Edom, which is Esav. Why? Shador ben Shnei Tzadikim. The tain is much greater on somebody that comes from a frum family, from a Tu Tzadiki Olam. Yitzchak and Rivka. And he didn't become a good person. Adarabas, he's the worst. Let this tzaddik give mussar to that one. Omar Ephraim K'chol Tamidish Remeir, Mishum Remeir, send the name of Remeir. Oivadi Ger Adoimi Haya. The reason why Oivadi got to do it because he came from Edom. Vahanu Darmei Inshe. People say Mineu Bey. From it itself, Ibo Nezel Beinarga. How do you make an axe from the forest? You take a piece of wood from the forest, you make an axe, and with that axe you can chop down the whole forest. From Edom himself, I'm taking a Navi that became Jewish and giving you Musar. I think it's fascinating. Remeir himself was a ger from Edom. And he's giving this drasha about how Mineu Bey, like he's giving the drasha about Mineu Bey, about somebody gave Musar to Edom. It says that David whacked the Moavi. Where did David come from, Rabbi Isai? From Moab. From Rus HaMoaviyah. So he is killing the Moavim. And the same exact thing. From it itself, from Moab itself, people make the handle of the axe from the forest and then chop down the forest. The thigh of an animal starts spoiling from inside, from the center, from the middle. The king of Moab, Misha, took his own son, and he made him an oila on the wall. Rav Shmuel, so Rav Shmuel. There's nothing worse of to picture it. Take your son, your own son, and burning him in a fire, hearing him scream and cry and pleading for his life. No, I'm doing l'shem shamayim. Chris tzaddik. But one of them says it was l'shem shamayim. This is what I don't understand so much. Person who says the one Rabbi Shmuel says L'shem Shamayim, this causes HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be really upset at Klal Yisrael. Why? Because here you have a Rasha who's doing something, the worst of the worst, killing your own son. But he does it L'shem Shamayim, and what about you, the Jew? How come you're doing wrong? How come you're doing Averis? It's a tain on Klal Yisrael. That's the problem. These acts that they do, we have to be careful. It could be a tain on us. When we do bad things, Hashem says, but look at them. They're blowing themselves up, and what are you doing? You're not listening to me. That's the problem. It could be a tain on us. But if they, in fact, the reason why Misha killed his own son, because he was sacrificing him to Avodah Zarah, so why would Hashem be upset at Klal Yisrael? Says, Shmuel ben Levi Rami. You didn't do like the goyim. You didn't act like the goyim. You did act like the goyim. So which one is it? You didn't or you did? Says the Gemara, when he was mechaber HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he stood up for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're not acting like that. It's terrible. You acted like the bad guys of the Goyim. In other words, like Misha who sacrificed his son to Avodah Zarah, that you did. But like the good, when he was mechaber Hashem and he stood up for Hashem, that you didn't do. That's why I always say, it's hard to say. Maybe I shouldn't say Barabbas. But you could all think about the guy. Yes, I know the guy only goes to church once a week. And we go every day, we go for longer, that one day that we go, longer than they go. But how do they act in church? It could be a taina to us. It could mamish be a taina to us. never really been in church while there, but I understand that there's not a whole lot of schmoozing going on, right?
It's great.
And it's yeah, shul's great, but we have to be careful. That shouldn't be a ketzef chas v'shalom to us. It shouldn't be a. Baruch Hu looks at these things. He says, look at how they act. Look at they. It says they left over there and they went la'aretz to earth. Rishayim is referring to all of Klal Yisrael. They went to the lowest level. Where does he see it? La'aretz, into the ground. Okay, end of that. And now we finish off the parak. We just said Uvadio was Yirei Shamayim. What's the lashon over there? Moed. But what was this? Yirei Hashem Moed. We have a similar lashon, also in the Torah. But Avishag v'hanara yofa ad Moed v'hamelech. It was okay. Baba Yomim lo yicham loy, and they brought him the Avishag. V'hanara yofa ad Moed. Ad Moed. Or Rechanino bar Papa adayin lo yigil chatzi yofi shesara. She's still not half as beautiful as Sarah. How do I know? And Sarah wasn't half as beautiful as Chava. The chsiv ad ma'oid, up until here's Sarah, she's up, ad, v'loy ma'oid b'chlal, and not ma'oid. She was ad, up until ad, ma'oid, but not ma'oid itself. Hadron aloch echad din amomenes, hadron aloch echad din amomenes, hadron aloch echad din amomenes. Our boy said, a good Voch, a good week. Tomorrow, Beis Hashem, at 7:10.